My name is Que Anh Dang, and I'm a PhD student at the Graduate School of Education at the Faculty of Social Sciences and Law at the University of Bristol in England. And I have just completed my 3-year research project on the topic of higher education regionalism in Asia and Europe. And I'm very fascinated about the new phenomenon that countries and regions are working together and create region of higher education. And this new phenomenon has not been studied thoroughly, and this actually gave me an opportunity to look into why and how regions are being made through higher education cooperation. Asia-Europe meeting is the name of my region that I study. And these are now representing 51 countries, 31 in Asia and 30 in Europe, together with the ASEAN Secretariat and the European Commission. This has become a very significant region in economic, political and cultural cooperation between Asia and Europe. Higher education in the last 20 years has become important elements of this interregional cooperation. And these two regions came together 20 years ago, first for trade and security. And of course, both of them has the common interest to keep the United States out. Then the globalization accelerated. Higher education became one element of the discourse of knowledge economy, and higher education has been brought centrally into the regional cooperation. In this project, I'm looking specifically as a special group of key actors and discover or explore how they work together, what idea they share, and what outcome that their discussion or the process of interaction between key actors has on the development of higher education, of the higher education sectors, and of the strengthening of Asia-Europe cooperation. There are some other research that has been carried out in the past 20 years about ASEM. However, they focus mainly on economics and political cooperation. Higher education has not been studied before, so my project can be seen as one of the first few projects that look at higher education. However, I don't look at higher education as part of internationalization project of national system. I'm looking at the region-wide project that higher education play a role in region making. This project has, at least I would like to contribute to the debate about how higher education play a role in creating new type of region. That is the region with common space for facilitating student mobility. And this is not only rhetoric, political rhetoric, but it's actually made through the interaction, microprocesses, interaction between people as meeting, and the meeting are the space where ideas brought together, and they became hybridized, and new idea came up out of the interaction. I call this type of process as the emergent property of Asia-Europe cooperation that created new region of higher education and reorganized the landscape of higher education between Asia and Europe. The main question that I like to explore in this project is through what mechanism, by whom, and for what purpose, with what consequences that Asia and Europe work together. And the second question that I spend much of my field work as well as my intellectual debate is I like to in advance an argument about the way and the reason why each region influence the construction of the interregional space. The main finding of my research project is the construction of the Asia-Europe higher education space, and which emerged from combining elements of Asian and European experiences and discourse about higher education, and it aimed at facilitating recognition of qualification and greater mobility of students. And through this project, I aim to advance the understandings of sectoral regionalism, which is necessary to be understood through the micro processes between different sectors and between different levels of cooperation, from university to ministry and nationwide and region-wide. This project has provided new insight into higher education region making process and opened up a wider explanation based on cultural and additional factors such as norms, identity, and persuasion, communication between people. And this soft mechanism of region making is actually has contributed to the shaping of political outcome and contribute to the understanding of how regions are constructed around the world through higher education cooperation. And this kind of understanding and explanation could be useful to understand the cooperation in other sectors. But I would like to emphasize that ASEM is not an integration process, it's not an Europeanization outside Europe as conceived in political science. ASEM is not about diffusion of policy, but ASEM is about making new policy. And ASEM is not about post-colonization. There is no sign of responsibility for former colony in the style of interaction as meeting. Rather, it's a very strong sense of interdependence. My project captures this equal partnership. Therefore, I combine the two discourses of higher education and regionalism to advance the understandings of the concept of higher education sectoral regionalism.